everybody. Welcome to our very first Lisa and Addison show. My name is Lisa. This is my co-host Addison. This is a different talk show in the sense that it is hosted by two transgender women. But we plan to discuss various issues from people from all walks of life. We are not professionals, just real people interviewing real people. Please feel free to email us your comments or suggestions at lisaaddisonshow@gmail.com. The email address will appear at the bottom of the recorded show. Email us if you would like to appear on our show. For those who would like to appear on the show but want to remain anonymous, we have our very own unique way to disguise you. We will demonstrate this at the end of the show. The show will be streamed live every week, and we will let you know on which channel it will be streamed. Or you can catch the recorded show on YouTube. Just search the Lisa and Addison show. For our first show, we would like to kick off an interview with Addison, a transgender woman. The transgender issue has become part of mainstream, with more people accepting what was once regarded as taboo. Clinically regarded as GID, which refers to gender identity disorder. So let's get straight into the interview with Addison.
Thank you, Lisa.
Okay, Addison, what age were you when you first realized your GID?
Well, that's a really good question because I don't have an exact age. I know it was in around 10 years old or even younger, but I really can't put a number on it because my childhood has actually been blocked. I've been having some trouble recalling my memories from that point. I do have some distinct memories, but they're far few in between. But I do recall moments of self-awareness around, I would have to say, younger than the age of 10. But I couldn't put my finger on it, and there was all sorts of issues around why I couldn't confront people in my family back then.
Yeah, that's very interesting that you do have that sort of blocked from your memory. I would strongly suggest maybe sometime to do hypnosis to try and recover some of those memories. So how was your childhood, knowing that you were born in the wrong body?
Well, it was always one of confusion and anguish and turmoil. Always at odds with myself and struggling to fit in, and always feeling isolation. Just always on the edge, always on the fringe of society, never really fitting in with one demographic. Always having a suspicion, but never able to do anything about it because of no support.
And how was your adult years leading up before your change? How was that?
Puberty was really rough because of all the changes my body goes through at puberty, and it made things even a lot worse. A lot more anxiety, a lot more stress, and anger. A lot of anger was coming out, and it was really tough. It just aggravated things. A lot of confusion.
Yeah, I think people just don't realize what transgender people go, the internal struggles that they have to deal with during their childhood and adult life. I was fortunate to have a look at some of your YouTube videos entitled Up All Hours 9, and it was your life as Brian, not the Monty Python one. So I saw you as Brian, and I was quite amazed at the difference, what a totally different person you were. I could see the anger in your eyes and the rage just bottled up inside of you as Brian. Can you enlighten me on your feelings at these times?
Well, pretty much you pretty much described right there. It was just basically kept rage and anger and just a lot of frustration, just basically forcing itself out. I was having real issues with identity, and I knew what I had to do, but I didn't know how to do it. There was a lot of fear mixed in, and that was a totally different person.
No, if you ever have a chance, you can go look up Addison's previous videos, and you will see a totally different person there. What and when was your defining moment when you decided to move ahead with your transition?
It was pretty much a couple years back. I always knew what I had to do, but when I worked a family business. It was car repair, and I knew I couldn't transition because I knew what the hormones would do to my body, physically and emotionally wise, how it would affect a person's emotions and judgment. So I knew it wasn't safe, but I knew what I had to do. So I started in 2011. December 2011 was my first dosage. So
yeah, that was one of the questions I was going to ask you when you did start your hormone treatment. So it was December 2011.
Exactly.
And what sort of physical effects did you experience from the hormones?
Well, I've obviously noticed the breast development. I'm into B cups now. It's well, the funny thing is, I've always had a feminine body. It's just now enhanced my features more tight skin, rounding me out even more. So I always had hips, even before I started transition, which is kind of odd for other people, not from me. It was not a big surprise. So it just enhanced a lot of my features. So.
And you are fortunate in that you're not so tall. You know, a lot of transgender women, as myself, we're tall. So you are fortunate to be the right female height. so that's something you can be grateful about. I see that you don't have your support from your family. I mean, how are you dealing with this? I mean, this must be really tough for you.
You're right. I don't have the support from my family. It's been a lot tougher on me than what they perceive. I've just decided, going this route, that the best way to deal with negative people and negative places is to just not deal with them. And unfortunately, I've had to shut my family down, and that means not going to family gatherings anymore. No more family dinners. I've even stopped taking my mom's calls.
That's really tough when you know, I think a lot of people just don't realize what transgender people have to deal with, you know, on the emotional level. You know, we told by a lot of people that they admire us for our courage. How do you deal with this negativity of people that, you know, you'd always find you get these people that just don't understand the transgender issue, or they just plain haters? How do you deal with these kind of people?
It depends on how the person comes across. If they're with friends that are going to defend them, then I'll be a bit more aggressive. If they're name calling me, I'll resort to their name calling. If I can just ignore them, I will just ignore them. I play on how their negativity comes off. If they're just being young college kids, drunk and immature, they're looking for a fight, and I won't give it to them. So I'll just brush them off and just ignore them. And I've done that before, and they've actually just respected me and just, you know, offer me a drink and just hang out. But they do it out of pressure, because they're friends. They're trying to look masculine in front of their friends.
Yeah,
they can't be seen to show weakness.
And sometimes I actually question those people who are attacking you. What are they hiding? You know?
Exactly.
Anyway, people tend to categorize transgender people with the gay and lesbian groups. But what they don't realize that being transgender doesn't define your sexual preferences, but instead it's it's what gender you prefer, that what you feel you belong to. Do you have any comments on that?
I really actually try and stay away from labels because it causes confusion and sticking people into boxes. It might be convenient for the rest of the non-LGBT community, but why can't we just enjoy the company of other genders? I myself, I embrace male, female, and transgender, so for me it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think what people don't realize about transgender people is that you get some transgender women that will still only feel attracted to women, and then there are those that have attraction to males. So in their cases, sometimes they're actually going from being gay to heterosexual, or being from being heterosexual, now all of a sudden they're becoming a lesbian. So it's anyway, moving on. One of the biggest rewards that us as transgender people feel is a sense of freedom and happiness that overwhelms us. How has this been for you?
It's been quite a breakthrough for me. A lot more people are coming to my side now. They're wanting to spend time with me. I'm reconnecting with old flames, old friends, exes. People are actually wanting to spend time with me. They see new positivity, a positive person that they want to be around now. My attitude's totally changed now.
Yeah, that is good. I mean, I think people just can never understand what we as transgender people feel, this total happiness. I mean, just some simple things like just walking in the street, just walking into a shop to go do shopping, having the freedom. And it's that happiness that's with you. It's a beautiful, beautiful feeling. Okay, besides the physical changes from the hormones, what other changes have you experienced?
A lot of emotions. Sometimes I cry for no reason. But I've got a lot more focus, a lot more clarity. I can concentrate more. If I need to meditate, I can. A lot more clarity, a lot more ability to deal with any stresses or anxieties. I can let go easier.
That's interesting, and yeah, I noticed in my situation, I did go through a lot of emotional things in the past where I would watch a movie and just have a lump in my throat. Now I actually cry. So, anyway, are you planning to go all the way with your transition? And if so, when do you expect to have your surgery?
I fully expect to go through with the full surgery, and my time frame is less than 5 years. I can't give an exact date, but once I have a more definitive answer, I'll be able to work on that. But right now, it's less than 5 years.
Okay. For those who, just to get an understanding on the transgender people, when you do have your surgery, there are certain requirements that you do have to meet. And one of them is, in Canada now, you do have to live 1 year in the role of the gender you prefer to be in. So, and then there's a lot of other information, other things that you do have to go through. But that is one of the most important criteria. And I think it is a very good true life test.
It is.
We are very fortunate in Canada in the sense that we have Dr. Brassard in Montreal, and he happens to be the #1 surgeon for gender reassignment surgery. I mean, this must be great news for you.
It absolutely is, for sure.
Okay, now, Addison, what advice would you give to other people that are dealing with their GID and have not acted on it, or haven't taken that giant leap yet to transitioning? What advice could you give them?
The most valuable piece of advice would be get your counseling in first. Make sure it's absolutely the right route to go and not to sidestep things, because some people, they feel it's something they want to do because they might be associated with us, but maybe they're just questioning, maybe they're just confused, and the worst thing you could do is have regrets after the fact.
Yeah, because I mean, you get what people must understand. You get people who are cross-dressers, and then you got people who are transgender. So some people, it's maybe just a moment that they do want to change over into the other gender. So, and I think that's also very important. Why CAMH stipulates that you do have to live 1 year in that gender, and that will be the true life test.
Exactly.
What or how would you like to change about people's negative perception about transgender people? If you could, what would you change?
Just realize that we're just like you. We're no different. We have same blood when we bleed, and you're getting your information from the wrong media type. You're watching shows like Maury and Springer and stuff like that, and you see transgender on there. Well, they're the ones on the fringe. We're not like that. We're not all like that. Try and actually befriend somebody who is transgender and who's living in the actual real world and not on the fringe, because the media, they get a negative stereotype from us, and it's a self-perpetuating stereotype. That's why when people see us, they think they want to come at us with hate, because they just think when they see one of us, they just think we appeared on one of those talk shows, and that's inaccurate. I just wish that would change.
Yeah, I heard a comment from a transgender woman. Sorry, it was a mother of a transgender girl that was actually killed. And she said such a good, true statement. She says, you know, people made fun of her daughter, and to her, it was a daughter. But what these bullies don't realize, that they're already going through so much internal turmoil, you know, and with them making fun of it, can you imagine all this load and stress they're putting on these people? So I do hope that people can be educated more about transgender people, and just to realize we are people that's not to fear. You're not to fear us. We're not going to try and convert you to become one of us or change your ways. Just accept us as normal people.
Exactly.
Then the final question is, when that day finally arrives and you have your surgery and you've healed up and are fully just knowing that you are a complete woman, I mean, what is your expectations? What do you plan to do?
I would like to be romantically involved with a man to the point to actually try out the new equipment, and it's always been an experience I always want to try and experience, because I have an idea of where it would take me emotionally wise, and yeah, that would be the big step for me. I've been doing this in preparation for that, so.
Okay. That's very good, and thank you for giving us the time, Addison. And as I said, this is our very first show, so we do plan to have more shows, and as promised, we're going to show you a very unique way of how we will disguise people that want to come up on our show and they don't want to be recognized. So we're going to demonstrate that right now. We have a simple way to do it. If you don't want to be recognized. So none of your friends are going to even recognize you.
I think she looks good on you. That's like a fashion statement. There you go. Oh, Lord.
Anyway, I hope you're going to tune in next week to our show. We've got a very special guest next week. you want to hit the cue there? And yeah, you have to meet this person. It's going to be very interesting. But I just want to leave you with 3 things, very important. Just keep smiling, be happy, and be positive. And thank you for joining us on our first show, and we hope that we have many more.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.